So this is the impromptu game, right?
Okay.
And so here's how impromptu works, right? I'm going to give what I think are just some interesting thoughts, right? We're going to do 3 of them. And we'll have 5-minute discussions. At the end of 5 minutes, Mr. Nate will stop us.
Okay.
And then we'll move to the next one. So
Got
5
it.
minutes. Now, the 5 minutes don't start until you start talking.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
So, okay. All right. So here are the 3 statements, right? Here's round 1.
Are you giving me all 3?
No, just one.
Oh,
just
okay.
round 1.
Okay,
One at a
okay.
time.
Yes,
Round-
okay, all right.
One at a time. All right.
Got
Round 1. Here it is. Okay. First one. I've been thinking about this a lot. Would you rather do what Jesus did or feel how Jesus felt?
I would rather feel how Jesus felt because then it would guide what I did.
Okay.
Right?
I agree.
Yeah.
Right. I agree. My question then, I always wonder is, how often do we let ourselves feel like Jesus felt, right? Like, when was the last time you was like, oh, this is probably just how Jesus felt, right? When was the last time you did that?
All the time.
Do you? Okay, all right, tell me why. Yeah.
I'm a feeler,
Okay,
right?
all right,
And
yeah,
so there's
tell
a
me.
difference in that because you asked this before.
Okay.
And I was like, all the time. Like,
Okay,
when you asked
all
the
right,
question,
yeah.
I was like, I feel all day, every day. Like, I do.
Okay.
And so, which is probably why I don't like crowds of people.
Okay. all right.
Pause. Because can I say empathic? Because I do not.
You can say
Look,
empathic.
I was like, can I say empathic?
Yeah.
Y'all church people.
No.
do. I know you're, yeah.
I think
I was like,
just,
can I say
just talk.
empathic?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, God, sorry.
And so-
I was like, it was on the tip of my tongue, and I was like,
Well, I think it's
don't
an
say that.
well, that brings to me 2 thoughts right now.
Uh-huh.
Now, all right. So one is, I wonder why that idea of feeling like empathic would even be a problem, right? Like, in my mind, actually, I've thought about this a lot. I actually think that empathy is another name for the Holy Spirit, right?
Right.
Because if you think about
right,
it, the Holy Spirit says that it's an ever-present help in time of need, right?
right.
Well, if you're empathizing with someone,
Mm-hmm.
then you are being present
Right.
in their time of need, right? So by definition, in their time of need, you're being present with them.
Right.
That feels a lot like what the Holy Spirit says it does for us, right? But for some reason, we use terms like empathetic scares people, or if you start saying, you know what, I feel like Jesus,
Yeah.
right? Right. I feel like Jesus felt. Maybe not feel like Jesus, right? But
Right.
if you say I feel like Jesus felt, people tend to have a difficulty with that. And I'm wondering, why do you think that is?
Why is that?
No,
Like,
it's a
I
real question.
listen. I
But-
paused because I was like, wait, why would you? Who has
Well,
that doesn't matter. So
No, it does matter. I'm interested.
I mean, it
yeah.
does matter. No,
Yeah.
I'm asking you because I'm trying to figure out, like, is that a
Well-
perspective actually? That
Yeah,
it's
well,
an issue
think
to
about it, yeah.
feel like Jesus felt.
Right. So think about it. If you were sitting at home, right, and this happens to me quite often now because I find myself in debates with a lot of people who are church people, right? Which is what you. And so I often be like, man, dude, I feel now like Jesus felt. I'd be like, now I know why he said this and this and this, right? But for a lot of people, they would feel like what I'm doing there is trying to call myself Jesus, right? And so they have a problem with that. And so a lot of times, if you think about even how we teach in Christianity, we teach a lot of, hey, Jesus acted like this, you should act like that, right? Jesus did this, you should do that. Rarely do we be like, hey, Jesus felt like this.
So you should feel this.
You should feel this way, right?
Right.
And I think with the work we do, it's one of the things I think that feeling part becomes more important, right? Like
Yeah.
one of my things I've been thinking about, and I've shared this, I think, with you and the team before, is Luke 10:27, one of my favorite verses, love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and love your neighbor as yourself, right?
Right.
And what I think is interesting is we always act like that verse means you have to show love to your neighbor. But that wasn't the command, right? The command was actually to love your neighbor, right? And so the emphasis there isn't on the actions you do, it's on the feeling you should have.
Right.
Right. And I think a lot of times we don't let ourselves have that feeling,
Right.
but we want to do those actions. And I think we think that's easier. Right.
Right. I think those feelings allow me to see people how Christ sees them because I can feel you. Do you know what I mean? Like I can
Yeah.
feel like what you're dealing with, what you're going through, all those kind of things. And so then it helps me to empathize with you
Yeah.
and see you from his eyes as opposed to like Crystal. Like, because in
Yeah.
those moments, it doesn't matter what Crystal thinks. It matters like if God is moving through me, it only matters like how he sees them, right?
Yeah.
In that moment. And so I think being able to feel how he feels allows me to respond how he would respond.
I agree.
Yes.
I think the feeling part is actually better than the acting part.
Yeah.
But I think we build so much of our approach to following Jesus on doing what he did. And I wonder if we could stop, and how would that change things for us if we all, right, if all Christians began to say, you know, what I want to do is not do what Jesus did, but feel how he felt, right? And I wonder how that would fundamentally change. I guess I'm interested to know, do you think that would change the way that we did our Christianity?
I think it should, because I don't think that we should be. Yes, we should do what Jesus
told
us to do.
But,
yes,
but I think that's going to naturally happen, though.
That to me creates then this checklist of things that I feel like I have to do, right? As opposed to I just get to show up and be his daughter. I just get to be who he called me to be today. I get to feel whatever I'm feeling today. Do you see what I mean? I don't have to. It doesn't require that I'm doing something, that I'm performing in some way, or that I'm trying to like, oh, look at me, I'm being Jesus or being like Jesus. It's like, no, like I'm letting him use me as a vessel, and I am pouring into people in the way that I feel like he would have me, because I can feel this, right?
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think all right. So that's how it works, right?
Okay.
And so, all right. So we got the one, right?
All right. Stay empathic.
Okay. Well, yeah, you can say empathic. You can say whatever you want to.
Right. Because I was like, oh, God.
All right.
I don't want to get stoned.
No, you won't. Don't.
Stone me.
I usually take most of the stones. So